This book has been a dream for me for the last 25 years.
I always felt that my voice was not heard to the people who matter. People think that storytelling is only for movies, for directors like Christopher Nolan and Rajamouli to tell stories. The whole idea of storytelling is whatever you are doing, you make it better. It's not just because you are born in Tata's house or Billa's house, you can become a leader. For that matter, Dr. Abdul Kalam, Narendra Modi, these are the examples you have right in front of you, because genes has nothing to do with leadership. It is not just theory. The way to make this work is write the story.
Hi everyone, welcome to the podcast. Today we'll be exploring tools and techniques that shape effective leaders. Today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Kuruva Venkataramana Murthy. He's a TEDx speaker, author, storyteller, awareness coach, and an amazing individual. I welcome Mr. Murthy to this podcast.
Thank you, Kushal. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure.
I'm your host, Kushal Vijay. Today we'll be diving deep into how leadership can impact with storytelling, where Mr. Murthy will be sharing his insights from his recent book, Inspire, Impact, Ignite. Leadership is a story, not a title. So, sir, let's get started with a bit of insight of the book. Like, what actually inspired you to write the Impact, Inspire, Ignite?
It has a little bit of background story for it. That all my life when I was not working also, I always felt that my voice was not heard to the people who matter. It is not their mistake, it is my mistake, but probably I didn't have a proper structure, proper mechanism to express myself. So all along my career I have been thinking that I should come up with something where every person should be able to express themselves, and it starts with me. So how do I do that? So there are many ways to express. People write, people talk, people sing, people write poetry, people go to gym, they work out. So everything is a form of expression. So I relied on ancient scriptures like Ramayana, Mahabharata and Panchatantra, and I learned that storytelling is one such form of expression. But if you notice, everybody is not a storyteller. People think that storytelling is only for movies, for directors like Christopher Nolan and Rajamouli to tell stories. But everybody says that, we are not those people, and we have to earn our day-to-day life. We have to earn our living. We have to survive. We don't have our ancestral property so that we can keep storytelling to other people. So all these things I've been hearing when I was a cashier from behind the counter, when I was an order taker behind the phone, when I was a manager behind the people. I've been hearing all these things, and then I collated all this, and then I asked myself, what can I do with this knowledge and experience that I have gone through personally, and put that in a form where other people can take advantage of it so that they do not go through what I have gone through. So that has led to this idea of writing this book, where a common man can find his voice and express himself, and not just find his voice, express himself, but also transform people who listen to that. And what best form is there other than storytelling? If Bahubali movie was told in one line, nobody would have watched it. But the way it has been portrayed, the narrative, the music, the picturization, so all that can be done through our voice.
Correct.
So if we can do the same thing, the same message can be communicated to everybody to inspire change, impact behavior, and ignite action.
True.
So that was the background story which led to this book.
So, Mr. Murthy, you told about the inspiration to write this particular book. But have you initially validated, like you might have shared your experiences with some of the people who have shared you feedback that, okay, your experiences did help them, and then you got started with the book, or it was like you started with it directly?
All through my corporate career, I have been fortunate to have a team of 20 to 25 people all the time in any position that I've taken, right from I became a management trainee to general manager. So every time I told a story, everybody got pumped up. I could see the spark in their eyes. I could see that they're ready to change. Then when I took over training, then I started going around all through India. I went to all the branches of our company and then started giving classes. Then I saw that everybody is so pumped up when the story is being told. Otherwise, when they come for the training, they think one more training, one more PowerPoint. Okay, so they just come because it's mandatory. But when they leave the training room, they are all just pumped up. In fact, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I once gave one training session in Delhi for Delhi airport staff. And we were talking about being true to yourself. So one guy asked me a question. If you are saying that I have to be true to myself, then in truth, I don't like this job. Okay? It's getting recorded, okay? It will go to our MD. I don't like this job and I'm a poet. I would like to write lyrics. Okay? Then do you want me to quit this job and go and write? I said, go. Yes. Go, write 20 lyrics, send it back to me. I will help you publish it. Okay? And guess what? After 3 months, that guy has quit the job. He went and he got his first publishing deal with Rupa Publishers.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, you be authentic to yourself. Just because I'm not saying you should do all the time, but if somebody is saying, I don't like this job, then it's better you put your heart and mind where you are. Correct? So from all these kind of different stories, I realized that leadership is not about title. It's about presence. It's about mindset. It's about how you communicate to them in a way they understand. But the difference between this type of leadership and a normal leadership is that in this type of leadership, me and the person who is listening to me both share the same vision.
Correct.
Like for example, if a mom is telling a kid, don't watch TV, study. That is not a shared vision.
True.
Correct? Mom is having a vision that he should study, but the kid is having a different vision. He wants TV. That is not a leadership moment. Okay, a leadership moment is when she communicates to the kid that how important it is and how she has failed because she watched too much of TV and she couldn't go to school, and after that what are the consequences she faced. When she tells that to the kid and then the kid gets motivated and inspired and does not watch the TV, that is a shared vision between the mom and the son. So leadership storytelling is different from traditional storytelling. In traditional storytelling, the authority is there, but there is no awakening. In leadership storytelling, there is no authority, there is only awakening. So that's the difference.
That's a great example, actually. So, like you mentioned, the book title says Mastering Leadership Storytelling. You mentioned about the example where the kid and the mum. So, that's a wide range of age group. So, what is the appropriate age group that fits for this particular book?
There is no appropriate age. A 2-year-old kid can be told a story.
True.
Right? And she will sleep. Okay, you tell a story, she will sleep. You tell a story and you laugh, she laughs. So there is no appropriate age, there is no defined age. It can go from 2 years to 70 years, 80 years. So there is no limit. The scope is too wide. Okay? And it can be used to influence anybody, right from a 2-year-old kid to a 70-year-old guy.
So for someone who, for instance, start reading storytelling for the first time, what should be the mindset they should carry before reading or start reading this book?
I would recommend don't read the storybooks first.
Okay.
First of all, read yourself.
Okay.
Before you become a leader to other people, you have to become a leader for yourself.
Correct.
To become a leader for yourself, you should know about yourself. That means you should have awareness. You can only get awareness when you look back and see, okay, what are my turning points? What are my tension points? What are my milestones? How did I do? How far I have come? To come this far, what have I done? And what is the formula there? Can I share it with other people? Can other people duplicate it? Can get the same success? So this will take an entire lifetime. So stop reading other people's storybooks. Write your own story, read that, communicate that, give it to other people, let them get inspired, and they will, and then not just that, tell them to write their story again. So it's a chain, okay? It will go from one, like a torch bearer, you just light the lamp, he will go and light the lamp, and then the other one will go light the lamp. So it keeps on spreading. So what is the benefit of this? The benefit of this is people will feel good, isn't it? You feel so good about yourself. You're no longer a victim now. You're not playing a victim. No, that fellow is better than me, or I am not good enough. No, there's nothing like that. You have 5 fingers, and every finger has its own value and purpose. Correct? So the thumb should not feel bad about the index finger because it is long. Isn't it?
Correct. No, very good point actually. For anyone, they should be learning everything they should be building their experiences first before learning from others' experiences. One more thing which I noticed, that this particular book democratizes leadership. You mentioned a lot in the book itself. Can you unpack it a bit? Like, what does that mean to others who are reading it?
See, most of the time in the book, I have tried to communicate that do not go the traditional way. Okay? I have taken out the generalization of the leadership. When you say democratizing leadership, what I understand by that is that it is not limited for the few chosen ones. Okay? It's not just because you're born in Tata's house or Billa's house, you can become a leader.
True.
For that matter, Dr. Abdul Kalam, Mr. Narendra Modi, these are the examples you have right in front of you, because so then that will tell you that genes has nothing to do with leadership.
True.
Then what is it that makes the difference? It's the mindset. Correct? So how do you develop that mindset? By self-awareness. So by not looking outside but looking within yourself, I've come so far. Even if you come as far as 14 years from 0 to 14, I'm sure you would have overcome a lot of obstacles, challenges in different ways and in your own unique ways. Look at that. Okay? And that is the story that will inspire a student. That is the story that will inspire a school-going kid. Because if you notice, we never get inspired by our own family members. We always want to see outside who is doing what. And then we say, oh my God, this person has done this, so I am so pumped up. So when you do that, what happens? Everybody starts thinking on those lines. Like for example, in this book, that's why I've given a workbook.
Okay, yeah.
I have just written a book.
That.
I've given a workbook saying that I'm forcing them to write their story. Okay? So I want them to have the habit of writing the story. It could be a very small one. I was walking on the road and I skipped and fell down. Next time onwards, I'll make sure that I see if there is a pothole in front of me. That's a small story.
Correct.
Okay? So every time you are walking on this path or on that area, ensure that you check out these potholes. That's a story and that's a leadership moment. And then when you start doing this every moment of your life, then what happens? You will have a legacy, very big legacy.
Correct.
Isn't it?
Correct. I'm curious about, so you have talked a lot about, the book deals with storytelling at the core. You as a person have pursued storytelling as a career also. What would be your advice to people who want to get good at storytelling? What careers they can pursue? For example, I know a few creators. So in creator economy also, storytelling plays a very good role because it gets the audience engaged. What, according to you, could be the career options where storytelling plays a major role?
The best part about this is you can insert storytelling into any career. The whole idea of storytelling is whatever you are doing, you make it better.
Correct.
So you do not have to go a separate way, create a separate path to have a storytelling career as such.
Okay.
If you are an engineer, do it in your engineering work. If you are a doctor, do it with patients in the hospitals. If you are a plumber, do it with your stories. The story you tell how one flat has got clogged, sink, and then how you went and how in the middle of the night you went and then you sorted. That's a story. Correct? So you do not want to create a separate path for this. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, take this concept, insert it there, make it a practice, and then be better at it.
So if someone is already good at storytelling, how this book can help them, become better than they are today?
If you are already very good at storytelling, you become a master of it.
Oh.
And once you become a master of it, teach it to others.
But how would this book plays a role there?
This book helps you by giving you a consistent system. Okay?
Can you talk more about
Yes.
that system?
So if you, let's say for example, there is a HR, okay, and the HR has read this book, they have applied some concepts and they felt it is very good. It can be taken to a large scale, like their own organization. So you take the frameworks that has been given in. There are 4 frameworks given. One is track, ACE, story, evoke. All these 4 frameworks, what they do is they would create a structure for you to create a story. Okay. So what happens every time you want to communicate something, you ask yourself, okay, I want to say this to my team. How can I say this using this structure? Okay. And then take the structure, put your idea into the structure, okay, and then comes out a beautiful, nice story.
Okay.
Okay. So then you communicate that to them, and then wait for results, wait for feedback. Okay. See how the feedback is coming. So if the feedback is negative, it is not working out. Okay. Which of these frameworks did I miss? Okay. Did I do authoritative leadership when I was supposed to do collaborative leadership? Did I not narrate it properly? Like for example, if you watch Bahubali without background music, there is nothing in that.
Nothing.
Right?
Correct.
So narration is very important.
Yes.
Then if you come to evoke, which is making the story unforgettable. What did I do to make the story unforgettable? Because I can remember my grandmother's stories till date. Why? Because they were unforgettable. Why they were unforgettable? Because there was a lot of emotion in it. There was adventure in it. There was a challenge in it. No, you remember, I remember, everybody remembers. Even your audience will remember that everybody remembers the story of Cinderella. Why?
There was emotions, curiosity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is always the prince going for the princess, killing the monster, taking the princess away. This we can never forget.
Never.
Use the same story. Okay. An entrepreneur going for an investor. Okay. Sealing the deal. And then building a company. Same story. Prince, princess, and the monster. So, how we take the concept of these stories and apply to the modern needs is where wisdom lies. And that's where this book comes in.
So, similar to this, in problem solving also we follow this STAR methodology or a framework. STAR, situation, task, action, and then the results. Similar to that, you have created a leadership storytelling system. Can you specifically mention about each and every step of it? Like you mentioned track, evoke. Can you specify each of them in a bit detail?
Yeah. The framework comes later, but before that we have to understand what is the anatomy of a story.
Makes sense.
So in the story you should have characters. You should know where is it happening. What is the location, which country, which area. What is the era? Is it 1900, 1800, 1700? Okay. And then there should be a conflict. Okay. Hero is afraid of public speaking. Okay. But only if he does public speaking, his girlfriend will accept him. That's the conflict. So the entire movie is about now the hero trying to master public speaking, which he is so scared of. Now that is interesting. People would look at it. Oh, how will he do that now? Okay, like we have seen in many movies, villain has captured the heroine, and villain tells the hero go and steal $1,000, $1 million from this place, but it cannot be done because he is the boss of that place, he is the security guard of that place. That's the conflict. That is when people will remember the story. Those stories which do not have this surprise thing, which do not have the authenticity, they fail. Like for example, I will not take the name of the movie, which Shah Rukh Khan was a robot in that, correct? So that movie is fantastic movie, great production value, great music, fantastic actors, but audience could not relate to it because it was not authentic.
True.
They could not connect to the character, how a robot can take revenge on, okay? Getting married to another. They could not understand the concept. Now the same concept is done by Rajnikant.
Yeah.
Correct? Whereas that movie became super hit. How? Because audience were able to connect to it. So leadership is all about how much energy you have, how much story you have to make the people connect to the story that you are telling. Because there is a shared vision. Between the audience and the director, there was a shared vision. So the movie became super hit. When there is no shared vision between the audience and the movie, movies have flopped.
Flop.
So from this we understand that if you want to be a leader and if you want to communicate something great to the team and you want the team to accomplish, but the team is not accomplishing because there is no shared vision between you and the audience.
And the audience. Correct.
So then you ask a question, how can I create a shared vision? That is where the ACE framework comes. Authenticity, challenge and execution. So you think of your leadership moment and then you say, what is the authenticity of this? Is it real? Okay, let's say for example, there is restructuring of employees in an organization where 25% of the staff are supposed to be laid off, right? So now you have to communicate this to your team. How would you communicate?
Very difficult.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
That is when you come up with a story and you tell, when I started my career, I got laid off. But that was not the end of the story. Okay? In fact, it was a good thing because now I got the opportunity in a different company at a much higher level and more experience. So when you communicate this to somebody, yes, initially they might feel bad, but they will understand what you are saying because they will know that you are only the messenger, you are not the boss.
Correct.
So storytelling helps in different ways.
So, Mr. Murthy, we live in a data-driven world today, occupied with data like day in and day out. How does storytelling fits into this environment?
Data is all about logic.
Yes.
Storytelling is all about emotion.
Correct.
Combine the logic and emotion and you have a winner.
Yes. It connects people and touches them to the
What
core.
happens most of the time, I have done this. When I'm presenting numbers, you present the number, you are so high on the numbers because you achieved the target, you brought down the cost, the attrition is gone down, employee morale is up, productivity is up. Nobody cares.
Nobody.
Yes, they will listen. Yes, they will listen. But if you tell a story, when I took over HR, our attrition was 25%, which means out of every 100 people, 25 people were leaving. And today, only 7 people are leaving. Now
Wow.
that is a story.
True.
So I've taken the data and then I've told my problem. I've told the achievement. Now people will remember. But if you tell just that our productivity has gone up by 15%, nobody
cares.
will remember.
Nobody even understand that because when people hear numbers, they usually, it goes
Sleep off,
above their
yes.
head. Yeah, true. So all the things that you have told made me curious about reading the book. How someone from our audience can access this book online?
This is available, the physical book is available on www.oneintheuniverse.in.
Okay.
That's my website.
Okay.
On that website, you have the ebook and the physical book both available.
Mm-hmm.
And the physical book, when you order, you will get a QR code sticker along with that in the book,
Yeah.
which I do not want that people should buy this book and then forget about it. I wanted a connection with the reader. I wanted a connection with the audience. So what I've created, I said, you read the book, you fill up the workbook, okay, and then you attend my free workshop for this because you have read it, and then from there you write your story properly, okay, and then I will take that story and I will publish it in my own magazine,
Wow.
okay, and I will show the world that everyday common person can also be a leader, and they are already a leader. We don't have to prove anything. You are already one, okay, and then from there, don't leave it there. Take the best of the collection from those magazines and then invite them to the TEDx kind of a platform and then make them speak and tell so that the whole world knows about them. So that is the grander vision that I have. So this is what anybody can do. The journey doesn't stop just by buying the book.
Wow.
This is only a beginning.
Providing a platform in itself is a great thing, honestly. So kudos for that, sir. I'm very curious because you have written so many books. You have so many students across the globe. Can you share one of the experiences that you have with your maybe fans, or I would say your
Just
readers?
now today when we were launching the book, JD was telling how she has already resigned from the leadership position. She told her team that you take care of the operations. I'm not interested. I'm not motivated. And she attended the workshop of this book. I gave a workshop for this book. Okay, it's an 8-hour workshop. And I didn't even explain all the frameworks. One framework only I explained, which is ACE. Authenticity, challenge and execution. Her team was also present.
Okay.
And suddenly she's saying that entire thing has changed. Everybody is motivated. Numbers have gone up. Productivity has gone up.
Wow.
So it is not just theory. Okay. So the way to make this work is write the story.
Sir, how does it feel when you hear such success stories from your...
That is why I write these books, isn't it?
Fair.
That's all I want. Just one person in the globe comes and says, I've read your book, I've made a story, and that has inspired many people in my home, office, or in the school, college. It doesn't matter. One person. If one person changes, that's all I want. I do not have any big ambitions. I will take that one person, I will present to the world that, see, he's the second, I'm the first, he's the second. So then one more, then one more. So one step at a time.
Great. So one last question, Mr. Murthy. What should be that one takeaway you hope everyone who reads this book should take?
Leadership is not a title. It's a story.
It's a story. Can you add few more lines to it?
Leadership is a mindset. Leadership is a presence. Okay? Let's say, for example, the one takeaway I want everybody to take out is that I want them to believe in themselves, come out of self-doubt and say, I am also a leader. Okay, I have done this many times. What the book is saying, I have done this many times. Just that I never had the audience.
Correct.
Okay, there was no social media covering that. But it doesn't mean that I am not a leader. So, leadership is not a title. Don't wait for someone to come and crown you with a title. Okay? Act today, act now, and then tell the story to the world.
Very true. And I really like the point when you said you are leading your life, you're already a leader. That was really great. And thanks a lot for all the insights that you have shared today around leadership, storytelling. Really enjoyed the time, and thanks a lot for the contribution that you're doing in others' life. All the best, and thank you.
Thank you, Kushal. I enjoyed talking to you, and thank you once again for having me here and giving me this opportunity and platform to express myself and spread the message. Thank you so much.
Thank you.